Stu, what are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
Cause you can, you won't, and you don't stop. Cause you can, you won't, and you don't stop. Or when you can, you won't, and you don't stop.
Might be coming down for sure, Shaq.
I got the brand new dude, you're guaranteed like you. I'm on like that's a child, yeah, bitches too, so I'm a newlywed.
Well, hey, welcome to Every Tuesday Night. I'm Dominic Paul here with...
I'm Noah.
God damn it, Noah, what the fuck?
And I'm Mitchell Pratt, and
Wow.
we're in Dominic's house this time.
We are in my house.
So much better than my house. Just like in miles better.
Well, Noah, your house is just fine. Your dad's office is what sucks.
yeah, my
Yeah.
dad's office is terrible. It literally looks like the factories in Brazil. Like it's just terrifying.
It's a closet. It's
It's
teensy.
just disgusting.
Hey, Noah, you brought up Brazil. It's a Terry Gilliam movie, and I just bought the Fisher King Criterion Collection Blu-ray. I'm really happy about it. It was a wise purchase.
Thanks.
Out of
Yeah.
all the I'm not actually a huge Gilliam fan, but of all the movies I've seen of his, I like The Fisher King a lot.
I do really love the Fisher King, and weirdly, I think it's because it's the least Terry Gilliam-y of his movies.
Definitely is.
I strangely thought the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus was alright.
What'd you think about it?
I just thought it was it was my first,
You almost said Terrence Malick.
I know,
We're
I
still
thought his name was
recovering
Did
from
that guy
that.
come by last week?
He did come by
Yeah,
last
he
week.
did.
He was really upsetting.
He told me he was gonna come by. It was really, really bad news. He sent me a carrier pigeon note, actually. And
Really?
It took 3 months to get to my house, so it had like really outdated references on it. And so it was just like, hey, have you seen the Super Bowl? Man, they should have ran it in instead of passed it. And I was just like, dude, that happened such a long time ago. He's such a weird guy, but I'm glad he dropped by.
I'm glad-
Too bad I didn't get to see him.
I'm glad
Yeah.
he dropped by too. It made for a very interesting episode. But you were talking about
Yeah, Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. It was
directed
the
by
first-
Terry Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam. Yeah, it was my first Terry Gilliam movie that I saw, and I just thought it was cool, like the idea of it with all this weird imaginary shit, and then having the actor who played
Heath
Heath
Ledger.
Ledger.
Heath Ledger's
Yeah.
character change because of
It was a
It was-
creative way to
yeah.
fix the situation they were in, because they started shooting that movie, and then Heath Ledger died before he finished all of his scenes, and so they were like, oh, what are we gonna do?
right.
No, they really handled it well. I mean, they had like the reality of that world so that it could happen that way, and they did it well. I mean, haven't seen the entire movie, but the way that they did that is cool. I mean, that's a great way to handle a tragedy like that.
Terry Gilliam has to be one of the most unlucky filmmakers of all time. I mean, to
Yeah.
have your star die on you, on your film, but also the whole thing with Don Quixote
Yeah.
and, the failed Watchmen project and just all the different shit that's happened to him over the years. And, pretty much all of his movies in the last 10 years or so have flopped.
He's not had a good stretch.
He's not been having a good stretch at all.
I think
Not since Baron Munchausen.
Yeah, and I think to every extent, every director has a piece of that, and I think that, just personally speaking, I've had 2 projects that I've tried to work on. One of them I got 90% of the way done with, and then I formatted my card with the footage still on it, and I lost a lot of scenes. And I was so unhappy, I threw up after that happened, and I messaged the rest of my cast. It was a 3-person cast, and I said, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm really fucking done with this movie at this point. They were like, that's fine, we understand. And then this other movie I just wanted to make for a long time, but I had what I call a cursed cast, where every single time I wanted to film, we would get it ready, be like, all right, we're going to meet at my house at 7 p.m., we're going to film the night scenes, and it'll be great. And then I would get a text about it 90 minutes to 2 hours beforehand saying, I'm in the bed with the flu and I can't come. And so, I mean, to a lesser degree, I feel that pain, and I think every director has felt that pain at some point, because, I mean, like David Lynch and Ronnie Rocket, I mean, there's certain movies that they're going to want to make, and they never will. I don't think he's ever going to make that movie.
Well, I mean, that was the subject of our very first episode.
That's right.
How Kubrick could never make Napoleon, and so he ended up making Barry Lyndon.
Bring
And by
it
the way,
back.
guys, what would be your Barry Lyndon Napoleon project? Or if you were Alejandro Jodorowsky, your Dune? Oh, I'm suddenly Dominic Paul now, asking the same fucking questions.
Only
from
Dominic
the
Paul gets to talk about Dominic Paul at Dominic Paul's house.
Are you seeing this
Now you
shit?
shut your dirty mouth.
Are you
while I
seeing this
ask you
fucking
questions.
shit? This is fucking
Terry
bullshit.
Gilliam was connected to a Watchmen project?
Yeah, back when back when Watchmen was first written, there were some rumors, or there were some attempts to adapt it. Pretty soon after it was written, and Terry Gilliam was approached to adapt it and to do a movie version of it. And the interesting thing about Terry Gilliam is that he was going to totally just change everything about it. Like he met with Alan Moore, and he said, "Listen, I know your attitude about movie adaptations of your work. Alan Moore is notorious for hating movie adaptations of his work. So Terry Gilliam says to Alan Moore, I know how you feel about adaptations of your work, and it's true. There's no way that we can adequately translate this to film. So do I have your permission to just completely just disregard the source material and just, play with it as much as possible?" And Alan Moore just said, "Sure, go right ahead." And so what Terry Gilliam...
I would have liked that so much more.
What Terry Gilliam turned in was something that the studio was very unsatisfied with because it ended with them going back in time to prevent Dr. Manhattan from ever being created.
What?
And so then after they do that, we go back to an alternate 1980 something or other. We go to the alternate timeline, and the Silk Spectre and Night Owl and all those characters, they're just basically cosplayers in Times Square, posing for photographs with people.
Weird. That's pretty rad.
Yeah,
I have so many problems with Zack Snyder's entire Watchmen movie.
There's a lot of problems with Zack Snyder.
I have a lot of problems with Zack Snyder in general.
I feel like Watchmen could have been good, but he just made some poor decisions. Okay, so when you're adapting a comic book to a movie, you have to, as fucking that comedian said, oh Jesus, Patton Oswalt said, you have to adapt it. And I feel like that's the biggest gripe I have, is that Zack Snyder wanted to make it so close to the comic book that a lot of scenes just feel stiff, and the things he threw in were usually just over the top and weren't needed, except for that intro with the Bob Dylan song, which was actually probably the best part for me.
Yeah, it was pretty creative.
But every other thing just felt stiff, and I feel like it would have been better had he just decided, I'm just going to shoot this how I want to shoot it. It probably would have looked visually more interesting and having more going on. The second thing that I dislike about it is that he completely just butchers the female character of Silk Spectre completely, where she really has no character. She just entirely relies on a bunch of male characters to define her character.
It is pretty upsetting. And I think I get what you're saying, where Zack Snyder, he tries so hard to just make his source material. He tries to make the comic instead of making a movie inspired by the comic. There's more to doing an adaptation than just, that's like a live action version of that panel.
Yeah.
It's just, and plus he's just always sort of struck me as kind of a dumb guy. Just in general, he doesn't seem very smart.
No.
I've never seen Watchmen, the movie, but I've seen Man of Steel and stuff. So from what I've seen of Zack Snyder, I'm not overly impressed. I think he relies too much on visuals, and he's really weak in the whole story department. And to be honest with you, I think he's just an insecure director. But I think if he actually took on a project where he couldn't rely on that stuff, we'd really see what he was made of. Now, I think Alan Moore would be an interesting subject for a biopic.
Really?
Yeah, I think if they did like an Alan, because if he is the writer and the mind behind so many cool graphic novels.
It's
Watchmen, V for Vendetta off the top of my head. I can
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Lost Girls.
John Constantine, the Hellblazer.
Oh, he did Constantine the Hellblazer?
Yeah, I did the whole... I think he originally created the character and then did a few issues with the Hellblazer series, I believe.
No, he's one of the most highly esteemed fantasy science fiction authors, not just comic book people, but just authors of all time.
And I would love... I think you'd have to really put a lot of effort and detail into it, but I think you could do a really interesting...
He would hate it.
Yeah, of course he would hate it.
And he would never let anybody do it while he was breathing. And it would make an interesting biopic because... Do you know that he believes in magic?
Yeah.
And believes that he's a sorcerer?
Actually, I did read that because I visited his Wikipedia page. It's like the first fucking thing. It's like, Alan Moore was born 1940 fucking whatever in Warwickshire, England. Did you know that he believes in magic? It's like right there.
And that he believes in a deity that he says that the whole point of the deity is that the deity doesn't exist. or something like that.
That I did not know.
He's just a very weird man. He's a very, very strange human being.
Yeah, which is interesting that he let Terry Gilliam just do whatever he wanted to Watchmen because Terry Gilliam's a weird human being.
They probably understood each other better than most people.
They probably like spoke in like click clacks and like elbow smacks. They're probably just like a really weird. They probably
eyebrow wiggles and shit.
They didn't say anything for the first 30 minutes. They just stared at each other and cried a single tear.
I'm just seeing Terry Gilliam enter Alan Moore's house, and it's this decrepit, like, you know, castle, like in Scotland or something, and like the puddles are all filled with like oil, so it has like that weird rainbow effect to it.
Jesus.
And Alan Moore, he's like, you know, putting yellow and green paint all over his body, and he's just leaping about, dancing, and he stops and he sees Terry Gilliam, and the two of them just stare at each other. And then, like, one tear goes down Terry Gilliam's face, one tear goes down Alan Moore's face, and it creates, like, it like, smears away, like, a line of the yellow paint on his face. And then they just leap and embrace each other.
Fuck each other. Definitely.
Definitely. There was definitely a lot of that going on. And then afterwards, they just chilled. They got some takeout.
They smoke weed together.
They smoke weed.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Isn't Terry Gilliam... He's the only American Monty Python, right?
Oh, it's true, yeah. Well, he renounced his U.S. citizenship. Terry Gilliam renounced his U.S. citizenship.
How long ago did he do that?
I forget how long ago. A while.
Okay.
But he's always considered himself more English than American.
That's interesting.
It is
very interesting. Because, I mean, he totally went along with the whole absurdism and the Britishness of Monty Python.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he directed along with, I think, Graham Chapman.
Terry Jones.
Oh, along with Terry Jones. They did all the movies, really.
Yeah. Holy Grail, Life of Brian, The Meaning of Life.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really weird to like think that an American just kind of slipped into that mindset so easily, because to me, watching Monty Python, I have to really suspend my disbelief and really want to enjoy it in order to enjoy it.
You really do have to tune yourself to British sensibilities about comedy, I suppose.
That's exactly how I feel about it too. I have a hard time with Monty Python.
What about what do you think of Holy Grail though?
I think it's just silly. I'm not super into it as much as everyone else. The ones that I haven't seen Life of Brian, but I've seen Meaning of Life, and I liked that one the most. I liked it more than Holy Grail.
That's interesting.
I just really liked the scene where the guy throws up. That little skit is awesome.
The only bit of the
Meaning of
Life that I've seen is when the office workers go on strike.
That's
and create
crazy.
the building into a pirate ship. That I thought was raw, and I was just like, this is so cool. I don't care if it's not as funny as it should be.
Right.
I just think this is just an awesome idea.
It was awesome.
You know that short, the Crimson Permanent Insurance, or whatever it was called. Terry Gilliam was already trying to develop that just as a short film, and then the rest of the Monty Python troupe was like, hey, we're trying to get the group back together to do this one more movie, and Terry Gilliam was like, oh God, okay, I'll do it, but can I please like just do my short film, and we could like just tack it at the beginning, and so that was probably the most focused of the sketches because it was just Terry Gilliam working with that one.
Right. Do you think Eric Idle just spanked John Cleese to death during the making of the movies? Like he'd like get on set and Eric and John would try and be like cordial and stuff. He'd be like, "Oh, good morning, Eric. How you doing?" And just just like, don't fucking do that to me, John. You know how I feel about that shit.
Wait, you've seen them in that in their conversation they've had.
No, I don't give a shit about Monty Python. I don't watch the interviews.
They're so funny, dude. They're so funny.
No, Eric Idle is the friendliest of the bunch.
I'm not to John Cleese. He's not. Just fucking spanks him every day. I told you Daddy didn't like that shit.
I'm gonna send you a link to
them talking.
They're actually fucking hilarious.
No, I believe it.
They're very, very witty.
I like them individually. Just I have a really hard time watching the movies.
Huh.
And the TV show. I never liked the TV show either. Flying Circus or Faulty Towers.
I haven't watched enough of Flying Circus to really make an opinion of it, but I really do enjoy Holy Grail. Even though the ending for years has made me mad.
Yeah.
It is the perfect ending.
Well, yeah, to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it had a different ending, it probably wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah, it's the whole absurdity and just I cannot believe they're fucking piling this shit on at this point, at this late in the game. It's how I feel about, like, have you guys seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
The ending to Blazing Saddles is ridiculous. Hey, Mitchell.
What?
Can you do the podcast from the bathroom?
No.
Are you really involved in there?
He's really taking a poopie, dude. Just
Wow,
shut
dude.
the fuck up. No,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
gonna tell you today about what happened to me yesterday.
Tell me about it.
So the day before yesterday, I was online and I saw this quote where someone was like talking about this idea of the flinch.
The Flinch?
The flinch. It's this thing where, say you go and you're like, oh man, it's that crazy roller coaster everybody goes on. Everybody in their mind goes on it. I should totally go on that roller coaster. And then you just convince yourself, no, fuck it, I'm gonna die.
Okay.
It's basically that, but in terms of a lot of different things. It's where you go and you find yourself in a situation where you could do something you don't normally do.
Right.
And you flinch yourself out of doing it.
Oh, so it's sort of like you're like hypnotize yourself into doing it, and then the flinch is what gets you out of it?
Right.
Okay.
And I was reading a thing where it's like, you should try to avoid the flinch. You should try to do things differently and try and do other stuff and really expand what you can do and what you say you can do and what you can't do.
Right.
And so I read a little bit of this and I was like, yeah, you're effing right. I should do that. Now, my biggest problem with asking girls out is actually asking girls out.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's so fucking terrifying. So I was just like, my buddy Peter was talking about how he left this waitress his number one time and they hit it off well for a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the same fucking thing.
All right.
So I go to lunch at this little ice creamery by my house.
Nice.
And I go in and I sit down and a cute girl is serving me up there and
Serving you up? Yep.
Yeah, make conversation with her about tattoos and shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Great icebreaker. You want to see my tattoo with this clover
she
on
had
my
a
ass?
tattoo and I was like, oh, what's your tattoo mean? No, I don't have any effing tattoos because if I get a tattoo before I'm 25, my parents will disown me.
Whoa.
So,
nice, dude. That's fucked up.
So I go, I finish my meal, I pack all my shit up because I had my backpack.
Right.
And she gives me my check and I put it down. I put on I give a tip of like $4.50 because I was like, yeah, that was a good service.
Yep.
And then at the very bottom, I put my phone number.
Right.
And then I pack it up, leave. And then I tell my mom this later. I'm like, oh yeah, I left a girl my number today at Tillamook, and she was like, oh, well, what'd you say? I was like, what do you mean? I just put my number. She's like, oh. So you didn't put like text me or call me? And I was like, no, I just assumed she would know what to do.
Jesus, Dom.
Now I think about it, I was like, God damn it, of course that would happen. So I just rush into it, and it's just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just put my number on.
She probably is like, what the fuck is this number to? And she's gonna call it, and she'd be like, you left a really shitty tip at this restaurant, who are you? And you'd be like, I'm Noah Marcher. And she's gonna be like, well, don't ever fucking come in here again. That's what it's gonna be like. You gotta avoid the flinch. You just gotta talk to him, dude.
I know, I tried, but I didn't want to be like, so what do you do after work every day?
She'd be like, oh, I just go home and masturbate for 4 hours. And then you're like, oh, that's cool.
Oh my god.
I'm DTF with that. For Creed?
Yeah, that's the one where Michael B. Jordan is Apollo Creed's son from the Rocky series.
Yes. So you have seen it.
Yes.
I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm so glad that we have nothing to talk about now.
I'm so glad that movie's being made because I literally want.
Hey, this is kind of awkward. Sorry, we have an open door policy here at every Tuesday night, but our door is closed right now, so this is really weird. I wonder who that could be.
Oh my gosh, Noah, it's Randy Newman.
Holy
the
shit.
musical artist.
Dude, Randy Newman. This is the Randy Newman.
Yep.
Pleasure to meet you. Oh my god. Hey, take a seat, please.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, this is the Randy Newman from Toy Story and Monsters Inc. And his
James
album.
and the Giant Peach.
James and the Giant Peach. Same Randy Newman. Holy crap.
Oh my god.
We actually in case you were to stop by,
Yes.
we actually have a couple questions prepared. Would you mind doing a brief interview?
Okay.
Awesome. So, Mr. Newman, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I mean, I've never ever been happy in my life, so, you know, what can you do?
Really?
What?
Not even
Right now?
No, not really.
What about when you were writing songs like You Got a Friend in Me? What?
You Got a Friend in Me? That was the one that I wrote for Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Disney really didn't know what I was doing when I was writing that song. It's about slavery. A lot of my songs touch on America and America's troubled history and past. You listen to the album Sail Away, it's full of that.
Yeah. Okay.
And You Got a Friend in Me. It's about a slave owner talking to one of his slaves saying, you got a friend in me. It's supposed to be like dark and ironic.
Speaking of America, you are very outspoken about the country that you live in. What, if you were president, what would you change? What would you do differently?
I would make assisted suicide obligatory suicide. Like, if you're in a hospital right now, you've got to kill yourself. That's something you've got to do.
That's a law.
That would be a law.
Wow. That's kind of harsh, don't you think?
Well, you know, harsh is what harsh does.
It's the wrong.
Elementary schools would all be given books like The Bell Jar. There would be really depressing Russian literature for them to read.
So War and Peace and stuff like that, right?
Stuff like that.
Okay, let's take it back here a little minute. So you worked on Toy Story.
Yeah, I did.
What was your favorite movie that you got to work on?
Cats Don't Dance.
Really?
What the fuck is that?
Cats Don't Dance. You've never seen that film?
That's not a real movie.
No,
one's
it
ever
is.
seen
It
that.
is.
Cats Don't Dance was a film that I did the music for. It's the only film I did music for that I actually saw because I really like cats and I really wanted to see a film that challenged the notion that cats can't dance. I've been trying to train my cat, Billy, been trying to teach him to dance for 25 years in my house. I've had many different cats called Billy because a lot of them have died in those 25 years. I've only gotten the most recent one to tap his paw.
So out of
Cats Don't Dance. Wrong. It's my favorite movie.
How other cat movies? How does it stack up among the other great cat movies of our time?
Well, it's definitely funnier than The Cat in the Hat, starring Mike Myers.
Wow, so you have seen that movie?
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I didn't do the music for that movie.
Oh, that's right.
If
Yeah.
I do the music for a movie, I probably won't see it, because I don't like it to, I don't like the movies informing my creative process. I just like to write songs. But I do see movies. The Cat in the Hat, starring Mike Myers.
Do you see Oliver and Company?
Oh yeah, Oliver and Company. That was the one that Billy Joel wrote the music for, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was when he and Elton John were really hot for each other.
No.
They were in the recording booth. Elton was in the booth with him. Elton was doing Lion King, and he was sucking Billy Joel's dick while he was doing Oliver and Company.
Wow.
You have weird things going on at the Disney record studio.
Jesus. So there's some speculation behind the meaning of your song "I Love L.A."
Yeah.
So some people think it's genuine. Some people think it's sarcastic. Now, what's the real truth, Randy?
Well, a lot of people think that I'm talking about the city, L.A., but in fact I'm not. I'm talking about this guy that I knew when I was writing the song. His name was Lawrence Albright. Lawrence Albright. He ran the deli shop down the street from my house. And I love that guy.
Is it like a sexual love or just
It sounds like a sexual love. You're also talking about Los Angeles landmarks, so we can see how we would be confused.
Well, I mean, okay, well, here, why don't you give me a lyric and I'll tell you why that's so incorrect.
I love L.A.
I love Lawrence Aldrich.
That's awesome. I'm convinced. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've written for pretty much everybody in Hollywood. Like, you name a person, I've written for them.
Bette Midler.
Written for her.
What'd you write for her?
I wrote God's Watching Us from a Distance.
Jesus, that was a Bette Midler song?
I think it was.
Alright, how about Drake?
Drake, yeah, I wrote Started from the Bottom, Now We're Here.
You wrote that?
I even have my demo version of that song.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, I brought it along with me. I brought my library of demos.
That's an iPod.
I record all of my stuff. I record versions for the artists to hear so that they can kind of pick up on it and then add their own thing to it. All right, so what was it you wanted? Started from the Bottom?
Started from the Bottom by Drake. I would love to hear that song.
Start from the bottom, now we're here. Here we go. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Something like that.
That was amazing. What is your creative process? It's just so enigmatic.
Well, my creative process is I sit behind the piano, I play something that sounds like this, and then I just let words come out, you know?
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, you play that every time?
Every time.
What would you say your artistic...
I don't need to play anything else.
Alright, well, what...
Those are the 4 chords you need to make music.
I'm sorry.
What about your artistic
Fucking sorry.
inspirations?
Hey, watch your mouth.
What's inspired you artistically, Randy?
Bears.
Bears.
Real bears?
Bears.
Any kind of bear, or...
Just bears.
Do you watch bear-related movies such as Brother Bear?
No, I don't. Bear movies scare me, but bears, I respect bears. I'm frightened of them, but I respect them. And that respect is what informs my music.
Could you do an impromptu song for us?
You want me to improvise a song for you guys?
Yeah, that would be such an honor.
Perfect. All right, I'm looking around me. I'm just trying to get a sense of the environment. You got a Blu-ray copy of the Fisher King.
Oh, I wouldn't
right
touch
here.
that. That's Mitchell Pratt's. He's kind of a dickhead when you touch his stuff.
You know, I saw him in the bathroom. He's jacking off in there.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we better. You can take your time. I hear he likes it long and hard.
Is this your house?
No, this
is my house.
Okay, Dominic, this is your house?
Yeah, this is
all right.
my house.
You're gonna have to clean up that bathroom later on.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Jesus.
But I'm looking around. I see a copy of the Fisher King. I see Energizer batteries. I see there's a little wooden elephant rocking chair over there. You got some weird shit in your house, Dom.
Sorry.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna improvise a song right now.
This is good. I like how this is going.
Sitting here in Dominic's room, feeling mighty swell. The Fisher King sitting on the table. There's an elephant as well. My sinuses were acting up all day. I could hardly drive. I ran over an Asian lady. I don't think she's alive. I love LA. Oh.
Wow, Mr. Newman, that was
That
all
was
off
great.
the top of your head?
Yeah, you know,
That was...
it's a gift. It's a gift that I'm very happy to have. Well, that's not true. I've never been happy in my life. But,
Did you actually run up for an Asian woman?
I did. I wasn't, well, okay, not entirely. I think, well, no, yeah, I did.
Wow, that's... Is she okay?
No, she's not alive anymore.
Jesus, I should have been listening to the
You should have
song
been
more.
listening carefully to the song. It's all in the lyrics.
Jesus, you're right. It seems this is everything that you want us to hear in your song is very plainly in the lyrics.
I mean, I try to be just very, very straightforward with my songwriting.
You've been notorious for getting married and then divorced and remarried and repeating that process over and over again.
Happens that often.
Well, whatever. Fuck you. What would you say? What would you say the least favorite memories from any time you've been married would be?
Something
I know you're good at is misery, so I just wanted to bring that out of you.
It was probably that one time when, you know that song "Miss You"?
Yes.
Well, anyway, I wrote that song for my first wife while I was married to my second wife.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, and that's not even a joke. That's an actual thing that he did.
Yeah, so that was
starting to sound a little like our friend Mitchell. Mitchell was here. He'd be so so mad if someone broke character.
Yeah, he would be pissed off that any of us weren't taking this as seriously as he is.
Hey, how about you guys move on to another question?
Alright, okay, so... here's a question. Which current musical artist would you like to fuck, Randy?
Which current musical artist would I like to fuck?
Yeah.
Well, I sleep with a lot of musical artists these days. I've slept with Katy Perry, I've slept with Drake, I've slept with Kendrick Lamar, slept with Selena Gomez, I've slept with them all.
So you fucked them all?
Well, I write songs for them, so I fuck them as well.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
You are famous for having a small dick, but I was wondering if you would play us an improv song.
Alright, I can do that real quick. Here we go. Here's a quick little improv.
This is such an honor. This is Randy Newman.
This is Randy Newman.
I am Randy Newman. Here we go with some improvisation. Staring out my window, I see a fight down the street. I call the cops, they overreact, and the kids are in jail. That's neat. Had a sandwich after that, conscience clean. Masturbated to my TV screen. There was Sharon Stone and Susan Sarandon in that movie, The Hunger. You ever see The Hunger? It's a good movie.
That's an excellent film, Mr. Newman. You know,
I think that was Sharon Stone in The Hunger. It
Yeah.
might have been a completely different actor.
It doesn't matter. Shut up. So there's this rumor going around that you can't suck dick.
Well, I can.
Well-
I don't know. I have the throat the size of a tuba.
Would you
I can suck like a roll of dicks.
like just a Tootsie Roll
A
size?
Tootsie- Well, no. You take dicks and you wrap them up in a roll, and I suck on them. Do you want to hear any more of my demos? I got a million of them.
I'd love to hear
Yeah,
some.
anything
Alright.
you're willing to do.
Well, okay. I love this. Name another one. An artist and a song by that artist.
California Girls by Katy Perry.
By California Girls. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
California girls were undeniable. Daisy Duke bikinis on top. Be so hot. Yeah, it's gonna melt that popsicle right out of your hand. Bitch.
Have you ever noticed that about 50% or more of your songs are just you talking over a piano?
Hey, that's just... There are some people who think that Celine Dion is a talented singer, and there are people like me who think I'm the greatest singer on the planet.
Wow, you're your number one fan.
I am my number one fan. Somebody's got to do it. It's gonna be me.
Is there any? Before we fuck you, Dom.
I'm sorry, I thought you were just gonna
No,
say
shut up.
that.
I gotta ask Randy one more question. Yeah. So clear this up for me.
All right.
Did you fuck Farrah Fawcett?
She died in the same hour that Michael Jackson died, right?
Yes.
That's all the answer you need.
Randy Newman, everyone.
Randy Newman, thank you.
love
Thank
LA.
you.
Thank you
love
so
LA.
much. Thank you.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier. I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist. I love LA.
Man, Randy Newman, he's a lunatic.
He's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
He scratched up the couch where there's a couch and he just went.
Right, so Blazing Saddles.
No, dude.
Actual.
You can't just walk into a room and say, "All right, so Blazing
We were
Saddles."
talking about Blazing
Yeah,
Saddles
no.
earlier. I'm
Didn't you
picking
miss
up on
Randy Newman coming in and
What?
doing an interview?
Yeah, Randy Newman was here and he did improv songs and talked about his process, dude.
Fuck!
I know.
I cannot believe that I missed Randy Newman.
You didn't see him walk out the hall?
I didn't see anybody. I was in the bathroom for over 5 hours.
Jesus, were you dehydrated?
I was.
Gee, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear
I
that.
need to hydrate myself with my own piss.
Were you drinking water while you had, like, liquid shit coming out your body? So you were like constantly, you were like a fucking football player with like hypothermia on the sideline.
I saw Randy Newman in concert a couple of years ago.
That must have just been awful.
Well, no, it was fantastic.
Really? Not from what we gathered. It sounds like a terrible concert.
No. Okay, so it was me, my dad, and the
Bitch down
Scheffelbeins.
the street.
Good friends of ours, the Scheffelbeins, not bitches down the street. So we went to it was one of the Oregon Zoo's like outdoor concerts.
Yeah.
And Randy Newman was performing, and it was super interesting because Randy Newman doesn't really have any specific demographic that's a fan of him.
Okay.
Like, we went there and we couldn't really pick out more than two of the same kind of face.
Okay.
I mean, they were all just sort of like weird looking people. But,
yeah.
But there's no way to really peg like, oh, Randy Newman, he definitely appeals to, the 50-year-old male demographic.
Right.
You had kids, you had teenagers, you had old people, people of all races, colors, and creeds, just coming to listen to Randy Newman. Pygmies, those two.
They paid money to see Randy Newman?
Actually, speaking of pygmies, well, no, not pygmies.
What?
Just really tiny people is what I'm trying.
You can't refer to them as pygmies.
No, what I'm getting to is there are these two little girls. Like, me and Troy were sitting, Troy Scheffelbein, friend of mine that I saw the concert with, me and Troy were sitting really close to the stage, and there's this little open area right in front of the stage, and it's just Randy up there, playing the piano, and there were these two little girls. They couldn't have been older than like 5 and 7 respectively, and they were just so distracting because they were like dancing and spinning around and playing with each other in this area, and like I could see the parents. I could see their parents on the sidelines.
Sloshed.
They weren't sloshed. They just weren't doing anything.
They were like, those aren't ours. We don't take responsibility.
Like, the dad would just be like several yards away just looking at them, just going, stop. Stop it.
Wait, what were they doing? Like,
they were just dancing around and,
like, were they naked? Were they licking each other's, like, chests?
They were little tiny girls just dancing around.
That shouldn't stop them from licking their each other's cooters.
Why would the dad feel the need to stop them if they weren't licking each other's cooters?
Alright, I'm gonna cut all that out.
No! We're leaving it in the cooter bits.
Ow!
You don't like talking about anything cooter related. It's really starting to piss me
You
off!
Alright.
You little cooter, you.
I got an idea. Why don't you guys share some concert stories?
First concert I ever went to was Tenacious D with
Great
my brother.
first concert.
Great first concert.
When was this?
This was my senior year of high school.
Wow, it took you that long to see a concert.
Yeah, I know, it's ludicrous. But we go.
It took you that long to see a person play music.
I
in the
know.
same room.
It took him that long to put in an iPod. I've never heard music before that.
I didn't even know what Tenacious D was until that year.
Are you serious?
No. God. But it was in Bend, and I go there with my brother, and we show up to the place, and we're going in, and already just the wave of marijuana hits us. And we're like, we're in the right place for this. And we go, and we're sort of just walking around, and we start making our way closer towards the stage, and there's a big just block of people in front of us. We're like, all right, we'll just sort of hang back. And this bigger dude sort of comes up next to us, and he's like maybe 6'7", and he's just really big.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, massive. And he's just like, hey, when they get here, it's going to be a rush for the stage, so stay close. And my brother was just like, you stay close to that guy, because that's the guy who's going to get us into this thing. And so we're waiting, and like an hour and a half goes by, and they're still not there.
What?
I know. And meanwhile, these drunk girls come up to us, and they're like, where are they? Where's Tenacious D? And we're like, we don't effing know. God. And one girl's like, Dominic, because I fucking told her my name for some reason. She's like, where's the D? And I was like, bitch or Sarah or woman, I don't remember your name. I don't know. I don't control them. And she was like, Dom, where are they? And I was like, get away from me. Stop touching me. Go back to your boyfriend. Go suck him off or something.
Wow.
And so another hour passes, and then finally, the show begins.
What?
And they come on stage. I see Jack Black and Kyle Gass come on. And then all of a sudden, it's like a tidal wave hits.
Whoa.
And everyone just rushes the stage.
Jesus.
And I get, like, picked up, and I drift away from my brother and just a sea of people, and I was like, Anthony, blah! And then finally I make my way back through and find my brother. And it was a pretty sweet concert. It was when they just had released Rise of the Phoenix.
Right.
And so they had this big blow-up
Phoenix
model.
I hear that's incredible.
It was pretty sweet, because at the end of it, they're finishing their song, and the Phoenix thing leans forward, and then white confetti shoots out the top, because the whole bird looks like a giant penis.
Nice.
Okay.
So, yeah, it came all over us, and it was fantastic.
Did you ever find out why they were so late?
No, I think they were
probably stoned.
They were probably just really hungry or needed a nap or two.
Do you think they Blues Brothers did, where they like had to drive 106 miles to Chicago and have a tank of
I
gas?
think so.
That's incredible.
Best part of the show, though, besides the music, while we were waiting, there was this group of stoners next to us, and they were just like, "Hey, man, does anyone know where Todd the Pod is? Where's Todd? Where's Todd the Pod?" And me and my brother were like, "Who the hell is Todd the Pod? What? He must just be like legendary." And so finally, they're just continuing to go be like, "Where's Todd? Where's Todd the Pod?" And finally, this guy walks up, just this normal, average Joe kind of stoner guy. And they're like, "Todd the Pod, what's up?" And my brother turns to me and he goes, "That's Todd the Pod? I expected someone better."
That's awesome.
Yeah, Todd the Pod was the best part.
I've only been to 2 concerts in my entire life.
Okay.
One of them was Justin Bieber. When I want to say I was 8th grade, maybe. It's when he was really, really popular before he started acting like publicly like a douchebag.
Were you a fan of his?
No, I wasn't a fan of his.
How'd you get to this concert?
It was a family deal.
Oh,
my
okay.
dad was like, "Hey, we're gonna get, if I buy 4 tickets, we get like $50 off. So you're going to see Justin." Because Malia, my sister, wanted to go see him, so we saw him.
His
the
little
Rose
sister
Garden.
Malia.
We fucking saw him, and it gotta be honest with you, it was a good show.
Really?
It was. He did this thing where he went up into like this crate and played acoustic guitar over the crowd of people.
I saw that in the documentary about him.
It was a good show. I didn't want to like it, but I did. And I was like, wow, that was a pretty good concert. And then the only other concert I saw besides that, I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was pretty sweet. Saw that with my friend Parker, and we were at the Rose Garden again, and they fucking rock. I mean, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are one of those bands where they have enough discography where they can just play everything they play as a hit. So they played a great show because every song they played was a hit, and it was awesome. And Flea, the bassist, is notorious for slapping and jumping around, going crazy on stage. And one of the guys, they were all wearing weird shit. Like the lead singer didn't wear a shirt. And none of them were wearing shirts or mainly any clothes by the end of it.
Yeah.
But like they're jumping around and causing ruckus. And I was like, one guy had a walking boot on. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And then I watched him throughout the concert. I was like, oh, his foot's actually broken. That's not a prop. He's just actually has a broken foot on stage. But those are the only 2 concerts I've ever been to. I don't dig the concert scene, to be 100% honest with you. I like when I'm there, I like the music, but I just don't care enough to go see live music.
Dom, have you ever been to a punk show?
Yes, on a very small scale. It was one of the most silly things I've ever been to.
Well, do you mind if I tell my story and then you tell yours?
Yes.
All right. So
I do mind. No, go for it.
I've only been to one punk show in my life, and it was in Southern California. It was this band called Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. I was invited to go to the show by my friend Remy. Remy is a friend that I made while I was at school down there, and she's a huge, fan of punk music. She's part of a punk band, and she's a musician.
Does she have a dildo up her ass? I hear that's really in right now in the punk scene.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And she invited me to go and see this show. She invited me to come and see the show with her. She wanted to pop my punk cherry. So we walk in.
Don't ever fucking say that again.
That's not the only cherry she wanted to pop.
Hey! 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 See, I'm not worried because I I know she's gonna love this. Anyway, so we get to the place. I forget what it's called. We get to the place. You're clipping the mic so much. We get to the place, and of course it's very, very dark, and the music is deafening. And the music is really deafening, and the mosh pit is completely out of control. Dom, have you ever been in a mosh pit before?
No.
Noah, have you ever been in a mosh pit before?
Fuck no.
Don't get in a mosh pit. Don't try jumping into one.
Is that what you did?
Well, here's what happened. I arrived there with Remy, and
Okay.
Remy's dressed like, a person would be dressed for a punk show.
Right.
Turns out, you have to wear certain things. You have to not have a lot adorning you, so
Right.
you better not, in other words, don't bring anything to a punk show that you're not prepared to lose.
Okay.
I came with my leather jacket and with pockets full of change and dollars and shit. And at one point I really and with my hat too. I think I wore my hat
Such
also.
Mistake number 2.
You're the whitest guy there.
Yes, I was. I was so square. And I was such an asshole because I was like, Remy, I really want to jump into the mosh pit. Could you please hold all of my stuff?
Oh my god, dude. I would have left with your stuff.
Well, with like a poor saint, she took my leather jacket and my hat and all the stuff in my pockets and shit. And everybody's, getting hurt jumping in, obviously. Right. That's just part of the deal. So I just prepare myself. I know I'm going to get, either, kicked in the head or, get punched in the chest or whatever. So I get up on the railing and I jump, and I'm not exactly caught, but I don't exactly fall flat on the floor.
Okay.
What sort of happens is I get wedged in, this hole where the walls of the hole are human bodies.
Jesus.
And my legs sort of end up going right up to my shoulders.
So you're in the birthing position.
So I'm in the birthing position, and I'm sinking. I'm sinking with my hands and my feet in the air down into this rabbit hole of jumping, punching, moving dark bodies in this dark room with this loud music going. And I finally just sink and I just reach the floor, very, very gently, just reach the floor.
Yeah.
Like a cloth inside of a glass or something, just like that.
Yeah.
And everybody's still stomping, of course, so I'm scared to death that, my face is gonna get crushed or something. So I just start thrashing. I just start thrashing inside this hole of people until finally they all clear away, and then I just leap up, and I can see Remy's face from the ground. I leap up, and I just reach up and scream at her face like that! Yeah!
Jesus.
Because that's what the atmosphere gave me permission to do.
Wow, so you acted like an asshole with permission this time.
Anyway, and I moshed for several minutes in that pit. I think the shirt I was wearing underneath got torn a bit.
Absolutely.
It was really sweaty and very scary. And eventually I fought my way to the front and security. There was security there to help people out if they wanted to get out of the pit. And I was helped out. And then I went up to Remy, and it was only later that she said, "You douche, you made me carry all your stuff for you while you were in the mosh pit."
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
no
that
breaking your cherry for you.
Hey! So there's this guy named Action Bronson. He's a rapper, a white rapper. He used to be a gourmet chef in the Hell's Kitchen area in New York. But one day he quit his job. He was like, "Yo, man, fuck, I hate being a chef. I'm gonna be a rapper." And so he quit his job, became a rapper, put out mixtapes, and he raps about food a lot. And he's really cool for 2 reasons. There's a video of him on the internet. There's two videos of him on the internet. The first one is him throwing a flat screen TV in box into the audience and going, "This is for you guys." He gives away really expensive electronics at his show. He gives away iPads, and he gives away flat screen TVs, and he gives away sandwiches and food at his concert.
Jesus.
He'll throw it into the audience, and I just imagine him going, "Here's the pasta fazool for everyone. Take a spoonful and pass it to your neighbors." And he's from the Bronx and Brooklyn area, so he's this big tough guy. And then when he was literally in Portland, Oregon at the Roseland doing a show, he lights up a joint on stage.
Yeah.
And the Roseland is basically Auschwitz when it comes to security. They would just
kick you out. And so he lights up the joint. They'll kick you out for anything. The security of the Roseland comes up on stage and starts escorting Action Bronson out of his own concert. And they're like pushing him off stage, and they got him kind of in a chokehold position. They're like, come on, dude, you're done. You broke the rules. He like serpentines out of the headlock, pushes the guy and goes, fuck, man, this is my show. And then the security guard's like, hey, man, dude, we can just talk about this. It's fine. He's like backing up into the corner. He's like, we can just talk about this. Action Bronson pushes him, puts him horizontal, parallel to the floor, and he hits the ground, and everyone's like, Action Bronson! Action Bronson! And he gets the joint again, and he keeps doing his set, and he finished the show.
How come he didn't throw the security guard into the crowd?
And hey, here's some security guard for everyone!
Yeah.
Enjoy the pasta rigatoni on me!
My first punk show wasn't really that intense at all. It was very low-key, like, beginner punk rock at this little thing in Portland that I went to with my buddy Jake, and because we knew people who were playing in it, and we get there, and this group of people comes on, and this one guy is doing his whole punk thing, just like, hey, fuck, and then there's just a group of people like up kind of by his stage area, and so he jumps down off the stage and he just starts pushing people, and they start pushing him back, and he's like swinging and blah, blah, blah. And I just turn to my buddy Jake and I go, if that guy comes fucking near me, I'm gonna deck him in the face.
Good.
And Jake just goes, no, why would you do that? That's so mean. I'm like, it's a punk show, Jake! If that guy tries to come up to me, I'm gonna sock him one. And no one's gonna care. Because I'm the real man in this studio, apparently. And
Did he do it?
No, but he...
Did you want him to?
I wanted him to.
Yeah, dude,
I was just like, yeah, come here, you sick son of a bitch. I'll deck you right in the schnoz. But he stayed away. Then he gets back up on the stage, he's like, fuck Portland.
I hate it when musicians are like that. I hate it when musicians are like, fuck you guys. You paid money to see my show, but fuck you anyway. I hate it when musicians are like that.
I imagine that, like, well, actually, no, it's funny that you mentioned that, because at the Randy Newman concert...
Oh, yeah?
He said fuck Portland?
No, he didn't say fuck Portland, he didn't say anything like that. He's not a big talker at his concerts.
Right.
But, he plays this very, very moving song, like one of his love songs. He plays it, and it ends on just this very gentle note. Gesundheit, Dominic. It's just this very beautiful little love song, and he plays it, and then somebody in the crowd shouts out, "We love you, Randy," and then he goes, "Okay," and then just moves on to the next song. Like, it's literally just, "We love you, Randy." Okay.
You know that...
bum, ba-dum, bum.
You know, just in that split second, it was just that from Kill Bill. Dun, dun, dun. It was just like, must resist urge to kill.
He did refuse, like, when he finished the concert, there were some people there was one guy. There was like a 50-something-year-old guy with like a t-shirt and a mustache, and he was bald, and he had he had a vinyl record and a pen.
Yeah.
He walked up to the stage, like not onto the stage, but to the edge of the stage, and held it out for Randy. And Randy just looked at him for a second, and he thought about it. That's the weird thing. Randy thought about it, and then he waved his hand and said no. And the guy was just like, all right, and the guy walked away.
He must have
hucked it at him.
He must have known. He must have known what he was getting into though with Randy Newman though, because he was like really okay with. He was like, I guess not today, Randy.
Yeah.
Wait, Randy seems like he would be a huge diva.
Not really. He actually like there was this little documentary that some guy made called I Am Unfortunately Randy Newman.
Oh, Jesus.
Where he talks about how Randy Newman was a hero of his growing up, and how he still is a hero to him today. And they interview Randy, and you know, Randy, he is a pessimist.
Yeah.
He is very pessimistic about the way things are going in the world, but he's not really a dick. Well, okay, he is a dick, because in the documentary he says that, you know, if you come to any of my shows, you'll see that there aren't a lot of pretty people there.
Whoa. What an asshole.
Basically calling his fans ugly.
Yeah.
That is classic.
But no, he doesn't think very highly of himself. He's very much aware that his albums undersell, that nobody really knows who he is outside of You've Got a Friend in Me. And there's something kind of beautiful in that he can just be himself.
Yeah.
You know?
He's not afraid to just do what he does, even though he knows he's not going to sell as many records as he wants to.
Yeah, that's what I respect about him.
I remember
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
way to go.
Yeah? I'm scared.
God, I'll do it for him.
I remember when I was.
Dominic! Stop! I remember when I was...
I just wanted to kiss Dom.
They're fighting right now.
Pulling out my butt plug.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Are you fucking kidding me, Dom?
Dominic walked into the next room and he's pissing.
Dude, Dominic, you fucking closed the door, you
No, actually, no, just keep it open. Just keep it open. Go ahead.
This is a quick pee.
This is for the. This is
You
for
thought it
the
was gonna be
show.
a quick pee in front of millions of people?
Yes.
Well, anyway,
You know
I
how
won't.
many people can honestly say they've heard a person pee on the airwaves?
It had a very.
Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. No, the kid is not my son. I love LA.
I'm fucking wet.
Okay, so we're back from. Where were we, Dominic?
Doesn't
We were
matter.
at Tillamook's Ice Cream Parlor for Asses.
And now it's time for us to finish off the podcast. Oh, it looks like Randy's back.
Randy!
Dude, Randy, we said to fucking go. You were
I
an
wanna-
asshole last time.
I want to do one more song. Can I please do just one more song?
better
And
ask
then I'll leave
Mitchell.
you alone?
Yeah.
Mitchell, can I please do one more song?
Randy Newman, we would be honored to have you do one more song for us.
Thank you.
Alright, what are you gonna do for us, Randy?
I'm
That'd
gonna
be
do.
good.
I'm gonna do "Girls Just Wanna Have Fun." It was
Okay.
made popular by Cyndi Lauper.
Okay.
Here we go. Actually, why don't you guys suggest a song for me to sing?
Don't Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing? Alright, yeah, I wrote that one in 1922.
Wow.
1922.
Here we go.
How old are you?
I'm not gonna answer that. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train, going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train, going anywhere. Everybody, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people in LA. Thank you. I'm gonna leave out the window now.
Wow, Randy, that was a lot better. You're a lot less smelly.
He's not listening to you. He already left.
God, if Randy Newman comes back, I'm gonna kill him.
God.
I'm gonna stab him in the throat.
And as per the usual, we close our podcast with some slam poetry by Noah Marger.
Alright, so I usually read one slam poem, but I've been actually writing shorter pieces of recent, so I think I'm going to read the 3 smaller pieces that I've written of late. And so this one is called The Apology, and it was written on July 5th at 1:25 a.m. So this is The Apology. I'm sorry for taking you to church and telling our Father in heaven my greatest sin was not loving you enough, but for knowing it was loving you too much. I'm sorry for blowing leaves onto your side of the bed and expecting you to rake them up. I should have known a kid with a rake was not the same as a team of professional landscapers. I'm sorry for touching the art at the museum. I only did it to try and convince myself that art takes time to enjoy, so I guess I should have kept my hands to myself around you. I waited too long to see the Mona Lisa. I'm sorry that I never said bless you after you sneezed, but I'm curious to know if germs sneeze out tinier germs or just lose pieces of themselves along the mucus trail. This isn't Hogwarts or Disneyland, so stop acting like you have a wand up your ass and that we are in the happiest place on earth.
bless you would have been a mild compliment for someone who said, it's a small world after all, like, I didn't know it was flu season, so cover your mouth next time I fall in love with you. I'm sorry for never holding the door open for you, but I felt exhausted after letting you into my life, only to have my magazines highlighted, my ribcage annotated, and my esophagus burgled. You never even bothered to turn out the lights, so when I walk around the streets, I feel like a diorama of the Old West, made by a blind 4-year-old. It was a really good try, but there's really nothing to look at for too long. I'm sorry for eating off your plate, but you can't really blame me for using my hands, because when the body goes into survival mode, you stop thinking, you stop questioning if you're getting loved, and just give everything to the monsters. Your forks and knives stop dancing long enough to pull back the curtain and see a laundry list of pills, an entire chorus of tape measures screaming, I'm sorry for eating your food, but I wasn't fucking eating anyway. I'm not sorry for all the times I loved you. I was strong in taking nothing and still finding a diamond in the middle of fool's gold. I'm not sorry for how I broke up with you. I told you bugs don't live long under magnifying glass, and that eventually I was gonna turn into a butterfly. I'm not sorry for crying every time I see a rainbow, because I know every rainbow got there because someone believed enough in themselves to make it through the rain. And I'm not sorry for being me. I'm only sorry you couldn't see my rainbow through your rain. And that was the first one. Next, we'll go with...
That was really good.
Thank you. We'll go with Slippers next. So this is called Slippers. This was written on July 2nd at 1:37 a.m. They say if you hold a seashell up to your ear, you can hear the entire ocean. So for 18 years, I pressed you up against my body in hopes I would hear something I wanted to hear. Because the power of suggestion is so forceful, I almost told myself I was untalented and not funny and worthless and lived to tell the tale about it. So for the next 100 years, I will no longer take pride in collecting shells. I will raise my flag to being as honest as who I am as I can. Because I told myself, all I was a shell, but I am not a shell, I am a garden. I am a Thanksgiving dinner, a Hot Wheels racing car. They say if you hold your ear up to a beating heart, you can resurrect an old feeling, a new feeling, and I get the feeling you're not as into this as I am, you're not fitting into this glass slipper like they said you would. These glass slippers are reserved for pretty girls and mods who have been told their entire lives they cannot be butterflies. They say if you have a skeleton in your closet, get it out as fast as you can. I say keep your skeletons in your closet to remind yourself that the minute you tell yourself you are untalented or unfunny or worthless, you become nothing more than that shell you used to go by. They say we find ourselves. I say we find that we always were ourselves. That was number 2. Let's see. Let's go with, I don't know if oh, here we go. This is called Breaking Beauty. This was written on May 13th, 2015. I am attracted to broken mirrors. The stutter's like a skipping rock, but a skipping rock sings songs, makes music. You have to listen to a stuttering rock. The shards of glass poking out of your ribcage that reflect light into my darkness. The darkness I surrendered to the song of the universe, the song of stuttering rocks. The sand and fog morphine drip that gets you out of bed, or the birds in the small of your back, laying eggs that mistook itself for a lion. I am attracted to the things I see broken in me. I make love to the past. I kiss its edges and hold its paper boats in hopes that one day I can sail the stormy seas without fear of breaking. But breaking means listening to the whistle of your bones when they snap and the tangle of your hairline as it recedes into your teeth. You were my breaking beauty.
I thought if I could fix you, I could lay my past to rest, but instead I lost sleep, thinking about your shards of glass and your rocky stutter. I am not attracted to apples, but instead the worms that somehow coexist there. I am attracted not to beautiful sentences, but to the erasure marks left there so someone would notice me. I am not attracted to you, but the possibility of gluing together my past by playing doctor with your heart. I love you, but you need to skip your own rocks and to stutter your own lyrics, because everything around us is breaking, but we are refracting light in ways God has never seen, only thought about in the privacy of his own bedroom. I accept my broken mirror. I accept my broken mirror. I accept my broken mirror because I am the one who broke it. And if you look closely in the pieces, you can see me smiling because I know that no matter how much I break, my love for other people will never even come within an eyelash of bending. So, break beautifully.
Wow.
Bravo.
Bravo indeed.
Thank you.
That was really good, man.
Thank you. This has been Every Tuesday Night. I'm Noah Marger.
I'm Mitchell Pratt.
And I'm Dominic Paul, and we're here to wish you a good night.
Sail away, sail away. We will cross the mighty ocean in just a day. Sail away, sail away.